Not even in the squad. Apparently it was a thigh knock. However, Spanish newspapers this weekend saying the door is open for Coutinho, said Sport, the Catalan newspaper. Meanwhile, Mundo Deportivo saying that Coutinho is already looking for houses in Barcelona. We welcome Sid Lowe to the show from Madrid. Sid, could this happen this month?
I don't think it's impossible. I think that there's a big gap and a big difference between there being a possibility of this happening and some of the things that have been suggested now that it's done, it's not done. I think what's happened, and I think you can see this in the reporting that's been done in Catalonia in particular, is that Barcelona believe they have a sense of the kind of fee that it would take to get him now, and they have a sense, or they believe at least, and they may well have read this wrong because in the summer they consistently got it wrong, they have a sense that Liverpool would be willing now. Now, in part, that's interpretive rather than informative. It's not because they've been told this, it's because they're reading the signs, because they have a sense that this is where Liverpool are going. And they think that that fee would be around about 140 million euros plus quite a lot more in objectives. I mean, we're talking about a total fee of, in all probability, way over 160, 170 million euros. Now, that's not to say they're necessarily going to do this, but bear in mind that Barcelona wanted Coutinho in the summer. They know that Coutinho wanted to come, so there's a kind of a moral obligation to him as well to try and force this through. But there is, and there's no getting away from this, there is a debate within Barcelona about whether this is really the right thing to do, about whether they can really commit this kind of money to a player that would block the progress of Denis Suarez. And I know, obviously, Denis Suarez is nowhere near in the same league, that maybe blocks the progress of Sergio Roberto, that maybe right now, for at least for as long as Andres Iniesta is playing well, kind of doesn't necessarily become an automatic first choice of player, although admittedly he would very quickly. So this isn't decided, and even if it was decided, it's not that easy to get done, but it's certainly not impossible.
Are you surprised that's even a conversation?
Yeah, I don't see this.
Barcelona have had a great start to the season, absolutely flying, defied their critics. So is there a situation, as Sid says, that if you spend all this money, bring in Coutinho, that it might just upset the apple cart?
Not at all. Why? You're bringing in absolute quality. And really, Denis Suarez is not even close to getting anywhere near where Coutinho is. I don't see how that Roberto gets knocked back either. Listen, this is Barcelona. Barcelona have to be up there all the time. And the only thing that happens if they get Coutinho is it makes them stronger and better. So why would you not do it?
I remember in the summer there was a period in which you get very red and very angry and say, come on, Liverpool.
What was red?
It's time for the owners to make a statement.
And they did.
And not sell Coutinho.
And they did.
Do you still have the same feelings with regards to a possible move?
I think the move's going to happen in the summer. I think the Fenway Group made a statement. But I think the fact that Coutinho has turned round and performed the way he has shown his loyalty to Liverpool. He definitely wants to go to Barcelona. And I think if this offer that Sid's talking about comes in the summer, I think Liverpool would be foolish not to take it.
What if he goes now?
It makes no sense. He can't play in the Champions League for Barcelona, and Liverpool have to make sure they get in the top 4 this season. So, you know, Liverpool, I mean, it makes no sense for Liverpool that he goes in January. Absolutely none. I think this is going to happen in the summer.
If Barcelona are as desperate as it seems and are willing to pay, they'll pay it in the summer. Makes no sense, as Stevie said. Makes no sense. He will help their bid to stay ahead in the La Liga domestic title race, which he would clearly improve their team. But there's no Champions League football for him in a Barcelona shirt. And I can't help but feeling that one of the things that have been said on the quiet to Coutinho is, look, help us this season.
Yeah.
We've got some irons in the fire. Just help us out domestically. As Stevie said, the bread and butter is the top 4. Then next summer, we'll grant you your wish.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't see anything other than in the summer, Coutinho going to Barcelona. I would be shocked if he moved this January. Absolutely shocked.
See, the boys make a good point, don't they, in a sense that, look, Barca are going to win La Liga. He can't play in the Champions League. Why push it through now? Why not wait until the summer?
Yeah. This happens quite often, actually, that you see deals pushed through when you can't really see a logical reason to do it. And I think one of the reasons is that clubs are concerned that the market can move in the meantime. The clubs are concerned that the promises that are made to them, unless they're written down, unless it's a written clause, and of course this is what we saw with Luis Suarez when he renewed with Liverpool, it's what we've seen with Antoine Griezmann when he renewed with Atletico Madrid last year, that there were clauses inserted in that new deal that made it watertight. Now this is one of the things that happens, of course, is that for as long as that's not there, people are concerned that things may change, that people are concerned that other suitors may come in, that the price may be driven up, that the market may shift. And so there is sometimes a sense that let's do it now, even if in a way these kind of extra 4 or 5 months are almost relevant. But exactly, the boys make a perfectly logical point. Not just actually, as Craig was saying, it just doesn't make any sense for Liverpool. It doesn't really make a huge amount of sense for Coutinho, except that it would end any fear. It would end any concern that this might fall apart at some stage if they were to wait.
Offer 150 million. Do you sell Coutinho this time round?
You sell him because Coutinho... I think you would lose Coutinho this time round, basically, is what I'm saying.
I think that's a fair point.
You don't let him go, I think you lose him.
I think that's a good point, though, that he, you know, the way he's performed off the back of the disappointment of that transfer not happening. I mean, there's many a player would have, and we've seen it, would have thrown the towel in. You know, popped up now and again, but, you know, when he's been fit and available, he has looked no different to when it was 2, 3, 4 years ago, when he was still playing the way he is. So I think it's a big credit to the player. But as Stevie said, if he's got his mind on it, and maybe there's been a little promise from Klopp that if it comes around next year, we'll let it happen. If Liverpool do change their mind, as Stevie said, that's when you will probably lose the player.
This kind of reminds me of the Ronaldo exiting Manchester United under Real Madrid's interest. So Alex Ferguson kept hold of him for the extra year, and his quality didn't drop off at all. But then, inevitably, when clubs like Real Madrid, or in this case Barcelona, come calling, it's just too much for the player to resist. And I think with Coutinho performing as well as he has, it's also good for Liverpool to show that kind of commitment that, OK, we kept hold of you, but now we're going to allow you to make this dream move.
Ian, what do you think? Do you think Coutinho will be here next season?
I think he's been a fantastic professional in all of this because he really, really wanted to go to Barcelona. I know that, having spoken to a few people at Liverpool, but he's knuckled down and he's got on with the job, and I think he'll carry on doing that job for the rest of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jurgen Klopp has said to him, look, give me another season here of everything you can do, and then next summer we'll look after you. Because I think, yeah, the boys are right. They might lose him next summer if they continue to try to hold on to him. Of course, the other thing they need to do is get a new goalkeeper, because Mignolet, bless him, he's not good enough.
Do you think Barca can get both Coutinho and Griezmann? And if they can't get both, then which one would you take?
Well, the more pressing need at the moment, I suppose, is for an extra midfielder, but they're very well aware of the fact that Luis Suarez is possibly not that far from the very end of his career. They think Griezmann, by the way, is very easy to get, because in the summer his buyout clause will come down to 100 million euros, so they think it's simple, there's no arguments, there's no battle, you just go and get him. So they believe that both are possible, but it depends basically on Coutinho being possible.
If Stevie the Cole said, there's a fair chance Sid would have jumped on a flight and came over and sorted that out.
Oh, because he loves...
He does love... He does... Sid does...
Sid, how would you have dealt with it?
Just love Stevie.
Listening to your description of the fire, Steve, I'm reminded a little bit of Ever Banega. The time that Ever Banega was driving to training and his car caught fire. Right? No. Well, this all this all stands up. Ever Banega was driving to training, his car caught fire. And so he walked the rest of the way, and when he got there, he told the security guards, oh, just a little bit up the lane, there's a car on fire. He had to get to work, you see, just leave it there.
Well, see, that's a dedication. That's dedication.
Your dedication.
Didn't he once run over his foot with his car as well, and broke his foot?
Yeah,
how do you run over
your
own foot if you're driving a car?
Well, this is it. Well, I'm going to explain to you, Steve, how he did it. This is magnificent. He goes to a petrol station, he fills the car with petrol, but he forgot to put the handbrake on, so when he came out the petrol station, the car was rolling away very slowly, and of course, being a footballer, he thought, well, the best thing I can do is try and control this. But you don't really control a car the way you control a football.
Have you ever interviewed this guy, Sid? Because he doesn't seem the brightest cookie on the planet.
No, he doesn't much like the media either, because I think he believes it's our fault that some of these slightly daft stories about him. And by the way, there's one more which definitely isn't on national TV.
On.
Exactly. So I think he thinks it's our fault, so he doesn't want to talk to us.
Should Mkhitaryan leave Man United to go back to Dortmund or travel elsewhere?
Could travel with Ever Banega, couldn't he?
I think...
Why not?
I think it was Ralph Honigstein said that in Italy, they think the sun shines.
Right.
So I think that would be the logical place to go.
OK.
What?
No.
Italy.
Final one. Has the curtain closed on a top 4 finish for Spurs?
No.
Well, now that Liverpool have solidified...
Well, that's what, yeah.
Well, it's just one less option for them.
No, not yet. It's going to be tight.
That's it. We're done. Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much. Yes.
Said, what was that last Benega story?
No. No.
Do you know it?
No. Yes, I do. No. ESPN FC. Is
Share
back.
it.
No. Give a shout out to the fire department, Stevie.
Yeah, I believe they were round at my house earlier on today. Put some embers in the bucket and it caught fire.
Everything's all right now?
Everything's fine. They came round and put it out.
Good. Good start to the year.
Yeah, they're not busy enough, are they, you know?
I
No
actually,
emergencies out there, just Stevie's bucket.
I actually tried to put it out myself before I left.
Right.
Because there was flames coming out of it.
Okay.
So I started off with buckets of water because the hose was frozen.
Right.
And then I realised there was like 16 million gallons of snow lying around. So I fired all the snow into it.
So then what happened? You left it
Well, I
still?
drove off.
You just like left it? Because you said, well, you've got to come to work.
Well, my wife said, look, I'm not happy. I think you should phone it. I'm like, I've just filled it with snow. It'll go. And I came to work and I got a phone call. I called the fire brigade. It started flaming again.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Have you got to pay for that?
I don't think so. No, that's what your taxes are for, isn't it?
Is that?
Well, what's the difference between that and your house burning down? You've got to say, I'm sorry, sir, your house is burning down. That'll be $200.
Yeah, but if you call the ambulance out, you've got to
You should be
pay for
fined
it.
for stupidity. Phoning the bloody fire brigade for a wheelie, a trash can. Seriously?
Well, I wouldn't
How
have done
embarrassing is that?
Oh, would you rather the house went up and it was something proper?
You know, it was no. You know that, Ben, because you told me that trash can. What's the right terminology here?
Trash can.
We call it a wheelie bin in the UK.
Yeah, trash
can. It was yards from his house.
Yep.
Well, I moved it.
Should we get on with this?
Only in his world.
Since here, everyone. Extra time. We're in our temporary studio.
Yeah, what happened?
The cameras broke in the other studio, so then we came here.
Why couldn't just use these cameras? Just take these cameras into the studio.
Oh, yeah, that's easy, Shaq.
You're the boss.
You
You're the
saw
boss.
the logistics of that out. How do you feel about this studio, Stevie?
I love these seats.
Yeah, you look very comfortable.
I feel as though I'm in Disney World and I'm just about ready to get catapulted somewhere.
Yeah, a bit of Space Mountain.
Something like that.
Is that what you do in Disney work? Get catapulted?
Aye.
Oh, I guess.
Stevie does.
You ever go down there? You often see him flying through the
Yeah.
He's not well.
No, he's not well, Stevie. He's got a cold, but battling through.
Battling through.
Battling through.
You
You
know
were
how
sick as well.
Who brought this cold in? It's been
don't know.
passing around.
I'm sick. No, well, I was sick.
He started it.
who's
You
caused
pulled it
this?
in,
No.
You gave it to him.
Patient
he was
zero.
struggling yesterday. He gave it to me. If I use Shaka, you're in trouble tomorrow. Because you'll be getting...
I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah, don't
Well,
matter.
regardless, you've got it now.
The flu doesn't take any account when you're off.
I'm going to come. Dan's house. If I get sick, I can come in yours.
Come mine, it'd be
With
nice to see
chicken
you.
soup and orange juice.
Lovely to see you.
You know how
Going
you
out tomorrow.
Always welcome.
you know how you gauge just how ill he is. You know that, don't you?
I offered him a
How was that,
chocolate,
Craig?
and he turned it down.
Well, it's like you know how we have the gabometer for transfers. We
Yeah.
have the foodometer. For Stevie,
You didn't want anything, Steve.
when he's not eating anything,
Wow.
that means it's like you know. there's
Even Eleanor's mince and tatties.
Wow. I'm going to
Are you gonna have a beer tonight?
No.
What?
I mean that's.
That's it.
That's keep next week
Call
free.
the ambulance.
Keep next week free. Why? What for the funeral?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I mean that's bad. I mean he's like, can I have your golf clubs? No, I
It's a
don't want.
rare event, that, I'll tell you.
Well, there you go. Where are you going?
Just getting comfy on this chair.
Right, let's do it.
Question for Stevie. Who's the best player in the Premier League this season? KDB, Salah, Kane, or anyone else?
The best player, I'll tell you, I don't know about the best, but I'll tell you who's the most surprising this year. Sterling. I mean, who would have seen the goals?
That's not the question, is
Go on.
it, Steve?
Well, everybody uses a different gauge to who's the best. Some people prefer guys that pass the ball, like a De Bruyne. Some people like
What
players
about
that
you? What do
score
you
goals.
prefer? What do you prefer?
Goals.
So Kane?
So who are you saying?
I'm going to go with Sterling.
Sterling's been the best player of the season.
I'm going to go with Sterling. I didn't see it coming.
Okay. All right, then. Next question. Steve, you brag about Pogba's price tag all the time, and all of a sudden we should forget about the price of VVD.
Isn't it amazing how people just make up nonsense? I never said that at all. That's a lot of garbage.
I heard you
What's
bragging.
a lot of nonsense?
I heard you bragging.
Yeah,
I'll
about
tell you what,
it.
we might have said you expect a higher level of performance for somebody that costs 100 million. We might have said that, We would have kept banging on about 100 million. So you're making it up. What's his name? Rushkev? Punchwa? You're making it up, pal.
Right.
Send me the tape.
Okay, all right then.
He's angry.
He is angry.
I think it's these seats.
He's
I
hungry.
think these seats are making you...
Hey, listen, if I've said something, then that's fine, but I didn't say that.
All right. Are you surprised that there hasn't been news of ageing names going to MLS recently? Is it good or bad for the league?
Well, that ageing players aren't coming to MLS?
Retirement league tag, I suppose they're trying to get rid of, aren't they?
Well, it's good that the league isn't being linked with ageing players. I think the league has moved past that a long time ago.
Yeah.
A couple of recent acquisitions suggest that...
Well,
they should have
Pirlo,
been taken off.
Lampard, Gerrard, never none of
shouldn't
them
have come,
worked
no.
out. David Villa worked out very well.
Yes, but, you know, at the same time, he's a bit of an outlier in that circle. I think MLS needs to go for younger players.
Yeah.
Whether European, Central or South American, doesn't matter, but the old aging players, I don't think is
You were
a need
part
for
of
the
that
league.
old ageing players,
Yeah,
weren't you?
yeah. They should have stopped just before me. Trust me.
That's it, we're done.
And then given the task to pick the team of the calendar year in the Premier League, this is what he has come up with. De Gea alongside of Errol, Stones, Walker, Fernandinho, Pogba, Hazard, De Bruyne, Kane and Sané. Steve Nicol.
Where's Salah? Where's Sterling?
Well, I suppose Salah only's played half a season.
Well, Stones has only played half a season.
We think, what, 12 games?
Alderweireld's played half a season. How many games has he missed as well? There's a lot of those players. I mean, surely you can't put Sané ahead of Raheem Sterling for Manchester City.
Sure.
He was decent at the end of last season, and he's been great this season. Sterling was decent last season and has been absolutely incredible this season. So just straight away, you've got the wrong Man City player in there. And Pogba as well. I love Pogba. I think he's got a lot more to show us that he hasn't already shown us. But I wouldn't have him in there. I'd have David Silva before Pogba right now.
Kante seems to be a big omission.
Yeah, that I don't understand how he's missing, especially.
Wasn't he Player of the Year?
He was. Of course, that took into consideration half of 2016 as well. But yeah, he's a huge miss. I'm with Stevie. Pogba, the inclusion of Pogba, the biggest head scratcher for me. And as you mentioned, Dan Stones. I think that there's any number of centre backs who were in there. Let's keep in mind, City didn't have. Well, City finished what, 4th last season.
Yeah.
They've had a great 2017, but even so, he's only featured in what, roughly half their
You'd have
league games.
Azpilicueta, wouldn't you?
Well, just to hear you say Azpilicueta, I would.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Over John Stones. Julian is with us. Julian, what do you think?
I agree with you, but I think Conte deserves to be there. So does Azpilicueta, whether you want to play him as a right back or as a centre half, although he played there in the back three, which is a bit different than the back four that Mark had in his team. And David Silva, for me, every day of the week, ahead of Pogba or ahead of Sané as well if Sterling doesn't make it. But those three, Silva, Conte and Azpilicueta, deserve to be there for sure.
What a disappointing way to end 2017, Mark Ogden.
That's a bit harsh.
First, of course, sees the transfer window open for a month. Julien Laurent is with us. Julien, you take a look at the top 6 teams in the Prem. Are you expecting much action from them?
Yeah, I think so, although Liverpool have already signed Van Dijk, but they might be also looking for a defensive midfielder, which they need. You think that Arsenal probably will strengthen their squad as well if a good opportunity comes up? And what about Manchester City? If the injury of Gabriel Jesus, is bad, they can certainly look to get another forwards/striker. And at the back, they were in for Van Dijk. They missed out on him. He went to Liverpool, so that it showed that they were looking for a centre-back. Could they go for someone like Umtiti, maybe? Someone like Emerick Laporte from Bilbao? I think they will sign at least 1 or 2 players for sure.
What about Johnny Evans? That's been bandied around, Stevie. Do you think that works?
I don't think it works only because if you're West Bromwich Albion, you're absolutely off your rocker if you want to let him go in January. Right. If you want to get relegated, then by all means, get rid of one of your most important players.
I think the issue for West Brom is scoring goals. And if you can get a decent price for Johnny Evans and strengthen your strike force, then absolutely why not? I think there could be some movement here. If you'd asked me this a week ago, I'd have said no chance Alexis Sanchez to Manchester City. But given what came out about the Arsenal dressing room, given the injury of Gabriel Jesus, maybe Arsenal can get a decent price for Alexis Sanchez this January and use that to strengthen their squad. There's a lot of ducks have to come into a row for that, though.
Thank you very much, boys. Of course, we'll be with you throughout the month to bring you all the news as and when it happens.